Hi everybody. Welcome back to the channel, and I'm hoping that you're having a wonderful week. So this is, partially speaking, the first week in terms of since December, since New Year. So hello, how's it going?
Hello, good. I'm very well, thank you.
So, what is your name and how are you doing?
My name is Zena,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, I am. I would like to say I'm doing well.
Yeah.
It's a crazy time.
Yes, it is. You're living in a crazy time right now.
Exactly. We're in 2021, so hey,
Yeah.
we're here. That's all I'm thankful and grateful for.
Yes. By the way, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Even though we're on lockdown, still Happy New Year.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, that's it. You have to look at the brighter things
Yeah.
and just be optimistic. Yeah.
Yes, that's so true. That's so true. So, I think I want to give a backstory of how I met you and how I know you. Do you
Okay.
know how we met? If you can remember.
I don't really remember.
Right. Okay.
But you could jog my memory a little bit.
So I was regarding one of my friends' wedding, and then you're taking some pictures, and I was like, oh, okay, that's the real different. So and I approached you, and I'm like, hi, how's it going? And I start talking. You're doing photography, and I'm like, I do photography as well. Let's link up. Let's see what we can do. So that's how we met. You
Yeah,
remember?
yeah. I do remember actually. It was my cousin's wedding, so
Hmm.
yeah, that is
Yes.
very. You have got a really good memory.
So yeah, I always try to have like, okay, how did I meet this person? How did we connect? I think it's
Yeah,
again.
I think I've known you
Mm,
for a while now, and I feel like I've just always known you, but I didn't remember how I actually got to know you.
yeah, it's funny enough. It's funny because how we connected is because and the thing is like, when you meet some people and you just like you feel like, oh my god, I know you for for the entire of my life, if that makes sense. Do you know?
Exactly.
And I think is with you is like that. I just like, yeah, I know you like forever. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that kind of that bond which is like so easy being to be made. And there's some people which
Yeah,
is like so hard just to be like, oh my god, how do I connect with this space and all this kind of stuff. So I think when you
yeah,
have
yeah.
that is when you're easy it's easy for you to bond. You get along so easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically the interview basically is trying to get an understanding of you. Like in terms of your motivation, in terms of what you're doing. And again, special right now because it's like a new year, beginning of the month. A lot of people, again, this video, somebody's might be in a different country, they might watch it, whatever. But it's trying to look at in terms of like what is your motivation and what are you aiming to do this year? I think I'll ask you those questions later on in terms of like what's your goal for this year, what you aiming to do, all those kind of stuff. Before we do all those kind of stuff, which is gonna be fun, I believe. Let's start with yeah. So just give me a real about your background, like where you're from, um, you know, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Sure. Seems exciting. Okay. So originally, I believe that's where you're asking where I'm
Yes,
from.
yeah. Where you from? Like,
Yeah. Originally, I am from Tanzania.
right.
It's a country in east of Africa.
Hmm.
That borders Kenya and a few other countries,
Right.
and I've been born and raised there. And since I believe when I was 13,
Hmm.
I did come to England,
Right.
and I've been based here ever since.
Right. And do you miss it? Have you been there before? How many times you've been there?
Oh gosh, definitely, I do miss it. It's a very beautiful place. It's got an island called Zanzibar.
Mm.
Um, I do try and go at least every 2 years.
Right.
So, but with the current situation of COVID, really,
Like, you cannot go anywhere. You're on lockdown.
we're on lockdown. So yeah, I've not been for a bit.
See. So, in terms of you being here, how was your education here? Like, how did you find it?
Oh God, you're literally taking me.
I'm taking you back, as in back in the
Taking me
days.
way back.
Yeah.
So I started in Favel, so it's a primary school.
Right.
I kind of started at mid-age because, as I said, I came here when I was 13.
Yes.
So I was completely new to the British
Education.
way of studying.
Yes.
Actually, I blended in quite well because when I was back in Tanzania, we went to schools that were taught in America,
Right.
American syllabus. So it wasn't difficult for me to come here. But I think the main difference is the culture difference.
Right. Yes.
Being in a school with multicultural kids from, let's say, everywhere around the world, to being in a school full of Tanzanians,
Yes.
it's
completely different. It's not the same.
Completely different, yeah.
Yeah.
Experience. So I came to realize that quite quickly, and I think there is this thing about putting in set and tiers.
Yes.
But back in school, I was the youngest one, so I used to be in class depending on your educational abilities.
Yes.
Intellectual levels. So I was the youngest in the class, so I was in a class full of adults. But when I came here, they're like, oh, we have to put you in a class with people around your age.
Yes.
And I was like, what do you mean? So I ended up being 2 classes younger and lower than I was.
Right.
Because that was my age group.
Yes.
And everything they were being taught, I had already learnt it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How did you deal with that? Like, how did you deal with it?
I was frustrated. Oh,
yeah.
I kid you not. I was looking forward to go back
right.
and continue my studies back home. But yeah, little bit told that there's a reason for everything.
Yes, and to be honest, we can even go deeper into that because, like, when your potential, when your ability is being held back, is, as you're saying, it's something where you just like, I'm annoyed. Like, how in the world am I not where I'm meant to be? You know, I'm too crass ahead of this game, and I'm held back. Like, there's a lot of things which we can process. Like, okay, how do you deal in terms of you going ahead even though you're stuck? You know, now how do you deal with that? Like, what was kind of stuff which you made you like, you know what, okay, even though I'm young, I know you're back. That's like back in the days, like, you know what I'm saying. But how did you cope with it? Like, how did you deal with that kind of
that's
scenario?
a very interesting question you asked. Actually, I haven't actually had time to sit down and talk about it publicly or just privately to myself.
Yeah.
But I think it did have a knock-on effect on me. I always, I think as a child at that time, I used to compare myself and say, oh, look at my friends. They're nearly finishing uni. They're graduating now. And look at me. I've still got another few years to complete. I think we always have that bit when we're growing up. But you get to a point and say, okay, this is it. This is me now.
Yes.
Whether I like it or not, there is no going back.
Yeah. Yes.
And you know, when you have an African parent in the house, they're telling you like, that is, you have to go to school and finish all your classes. So you have coping mechanisms that help you to continue your studies. And I think I just put my energy into something better and greater and say, okay, now I'm here. Let me see what I can focus on or what I can take advantage of if I was back home. And scale from that.
Right. And again, to our audience, just to put into, for them to realize, like, how can I use your experience in my daily life? We can look at, you know, in terms of okay, maybe you have been in that position in a company where you're like, okay, you know, by this time I'm meant to be a manager or I'm meant to be promoted, and they've not promoted you yet, you know, and you can be in that position, oh, why I'm not promoted? You know, I've been in this role for 2 years, or I've been for a year, and maybe you see somebody new comes in and take that position where you're just thinking, this is not fair. You know, again, I believe it's important to be able to, you know, to be more to have that motivation that, you know what, I want to get that position. You know, and I believe it's important to be able to communicate with that with your colleague. Like, okay, you know what, within 2 years or whatever, I would like to be able to be in that position. You know, and if I don't get that position, try to find out the reason why you not got it. You know, than being silent about it. Like, yeah, I'm meant to be in that position, but this person is not. You know, and even that individual who's in that position which you wanted to be, he doesn't know. You know, he doesn't know anything about it. So I believe it's important to be able to speak to your manager. It's important to speak to your. I believe there should be a career advisor within that company where you can be like, okay, what do I need to do in order for me to move up? Because again, as you are saying, like when you were in school, if you have been taught the same thing again and again, when you know the topic already, you know what they're talking about, it's so boring for you. You're just like, oh. And you lose that interest. And once you lose that interest, you cannot do anything. You know what I'm saying? So I believe it's important for you to grow as an individual. You need that ability to be able to, like, okay, I'm learning something new, I'm getting a challenge, something they challenge me one or another, than just like, oh yeah, it's the same thing. So I think I think that's how I can relate it to you guys. Maybe you're looking for jobs, or you're in a position where you are in a job. Now you feel like you're stuck in that job. You know, again, having a plan and understanding how do I go about it. You know, as you're saying, like your pilot, they're the one who's like, you need to go, you need to go to school. But, you know, but in the position as a adult or whatever, it's your responsibility to be like, you know what, okay, I want to be able to do this. Therefore, I have to push myself to go for it.
Yeah, and just to add on that, it's really important that you say that you have to have a plan.
Yes.
So sometimes not everyone can have a plan, but I think you can do little things that can help you to get there. Let's say if you're in that position, what roles or what skills do I need to get to where I want? So you can either put people who are closer to you into the skills that you want to attain, or look at courses that you can learn here and there to just help you to like get those qualifications that could be able to put you in that position. And just find innovative ways during your spare time, and don't let that time affect you so much that you've gone back, because if it does, you get into a spiral of thoughts. But if you decide to say, okay, what can I do from this point? It may put you in a better position in the future.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point which you made, like in terms of, sometimes we have a plan or we want to be in the same position, and then you look your surrounding, you're thinking, oh my God, how in the world am I able to do this? How in the world can I be able to come from this position to that position? And as you're saying, try to break everything real down. It's something. Sometimes we're like, yeah, okay, I'm going to start from here and I'm going to end there. No, break it down. Like literally, if you can break every little idea down, or the procedure every single down, it makes your journey so easy. Even though you're going to have some challenges, but because you broke every single down, you're going to be like, okay, I need this, I need that, okay, what else do I need to do? What else do I need to do? So, it says, I think there's a really nice quote which is said regarding planning. Like, if you fail to plan, if you don't plan, you fail to, I think you're going to,
if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yes. Say that again. Say it again one more time.
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So it's very important for you to definitely plan. And also there's another quote that says, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the one single step.
Yes.
So those steps are the planning procedures to get you to where you want to be.
Yes. And that's the thing. In order for you to succeed, is starting by those small plans. And again, this is a good way, especially right now, as in we are in the first month and we are in the beginning of the month. We have so many plans. I want to lose weight. I want to get a new job. I want to be in that new relationship. I want to have this and that, whatever. We have so many things that we wanted to do. But in order for that to be possible, you got to plan it. You got to take that time, and that's the thing. When it comes to planning, it takes time. if that makes sense. If I, for example, if I said, okay, I'm going to go to the shop, and I don't plan anything, I have no idea what I'm going to buy to the shop. I say, I'm going to the shop. Cool. You go to the shop. But however, if there's some people who plan like, okay, I want to go to the shop. How do I go to the shop? Right. Am I going to use my car? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to use my car. Do I have fuel in that car? Yes or no? Okay, is the car insurance? As the car has this and that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though sometimes we don't really like think about it, but we are already processing those kind of things.
Yes,
so
definitely.
When you process all those kind of stuff already, it means you can still process your journey in terms of your career path. Or even say, okay, I want to lose so much weight in this month or this year. Plan it. Okay, how can I do in order for me to lose 60 kilo or whatever? How can I lose that?
Yeah.
Plan, put that in place. And then now you be like, okay, let me continue looking at the plan. Continue looking at, okay, I've done this for a week. Let me go back to the plan. I said I want to lose this. Why is this not working? Okay, maybe I didn't do as much as I could. Let me go back. Let me adjust it to make it better. So as you're saying, it's extremely important to have a plan, because as we said, if you don't plan, you're going to fail. Like it or not, you are going to fail, in one way or another. So I think the big lesson which you can get so far is you gotta have a plan. And once you have a plan, maybe something might change, whatever, but you know your target. Like, okay, this is my target. How can I do it? And as you're saying, that can be skills. That can be people around you in order to achieve your goal. Okay, so then when you were in school, did you have like, okay, did you have like, okay, a career path which you wanted to go to, or you're like, okay, I want to go to uni, I want to study this or that, anything like that?
Oh, okay. So now we advanced into university.
Yes, like, unless you got something else, like, like, okay, how was it in terms of you studying, like for me when I came?
It's fine. No, it was quite a learning curve.
Like for me when I came into the UK, I didn't know how to speak English like really good. So
really?
In class, that's the only way for me to learn how to speak English. And at home, my dad was like, "You're not speaking Bemba, you gotta speak English at home.
Yeah.
And if you don't speak English at home, you get in trouble."
And you're from Zambia?
Yes. So how was it for you? Were you already speaking English when you came, or you had to learn?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was already speaking English at that time. So, like I said, in school back in Tanzania, there was actually a game where if you spoke your local language, you'd be wearing like a signpost to tell you that I spoke Swahili.
Yes.
So it's a language that we speak there. So every time anyone speaks or hear someone speak, we'll always find it so that you can give it to someone else. So it became a habit to us.
So you'll be playing a game. So you'll be playing a game to make sure that the other person speaks in Swahili, like a word which they don't know, and they have to speak in Swahili.
Yes, exactly. So we kind of learned how to speak English quickly, and it was no issue, no problem at all for me when I got here. And yeah, the tiers, I think the only downfall for me was the sets and the tiers, because I didn't like how they put you in different sets and then you had to kind of work your way up, because with the sets, if you know, you end up sitting that exams are actually higher or lower than your capabilities. But eventually that came around until when I came to do my exams, that was fine. So it was all good growing up. I think the the background and the people that I met. It's good that I was in a multicultural school, because I think if I went to a school that was not multicultural, it would have been very difficult for me to adapt.
Right.
But yeah, it was really good. And I never had like a plan of what I want to do. Yes. I always thought, I'm interested to do business, because I've seen my dad doing business, and I would just want to be like my dad. That's what I grew up telling myself. And when I went to university, I took different subjects: chemistry, I took physics, and I took business, religious education. So it was quite a variable studies to take alongside with psychology, because I was just trying to experiment where I would go. I knew I loved business, but I did not have an idea of what I wanted to do in business. So yeah, once I finished university and I started applying for
wow, you've gone very far. You've gone like poof.
I know. Just come back one more step. When I finished A levels and I was applying for my university, I was thinking, wow, okay, I've got these kind of skills. I've learned this in A levels. What can I take for university that will keep me ahead of where I want to be? So from there, that's when I looked into a course for accounting and business management. So you're combining the two, which is accounting and the business side of it. And yeah, so I took that on board, and that's what I went to uni with.
Right. So how was in terms of you going to uni and getting like, how did you, like, how was the uni? Like, how was uni for you? The experience.
Uni was fun. Uni was exciting. Uni was freedom. Uni was growth.
Where did you study?
When we went to uni, we still had chances to go to a class and see the lecturers. It wasn't just online. So.
Yeah, it was not online. Sorry, guys. Right. So, for example, like for example, right now, if you were doing your course, like, how is like, for example, for me, I'm just like, if I have to do my course online, I don't think so I'll be able to do very well on it. Because I'll find it like so difficult for me to do a course online. Like, how would you find doing the course like right now?
You know what? I can tell you, I am very old school as well. I still like pen and paper. I still like to jot things down and write things down and study by practicing. So yeah, I think it would be a challenging thing to do right now, to attend lessons online or do a dissertation online. It would be challenging, but I'm sure they have like ways to make it easier and adaptable.
I hope so, because for me, I think the only thing for me I'm looking at is in terms of okay, like for example, I'm doing an online course which is like a self-study, and there's some point where I'm just like, okay, I've done it. I've done for the entire week. Like, yes, okay, I've done it. And then the next week, I'm thinking, I forgot. I forgot that I got a class online, which I need to do. So I think it's that kind of challenges where you just like, I need to make sure that I'm on top of it every single week to make sure that I'm progressing to where I want it to be. So I've seen you're into a lot of stuff. As I said, I saw you doing photography, all those kind of stuff. What made you to go into like doing photography as well?
Okay. That's a very interesting one. So I always think or say that we should always do things that we are passionate about. Those are things that will drive you. And when I started doing photography, was after a long thought of, oh my goodness, I'm creative and I've got a key eye on detail. So I thought, wow, what kind of hobby can I get into and use that to be productive? And I always used to take pictures when traveling, because I say that I'm from Tanzania, so we used to go for safaris. So we used to see animals and take pictures, giraffes and elephants. And I thought, we always have like all these amazing pictures. And what do I do with them? So I created portfolios for them. And when I got into photography was because I enjoy the fact that I can create memories. I enjoy the fact that I can be creative with content and, make a story out of, let's say, a wedding or make a story out of nature. So I absolutely love photography because I enjoy doing it in my spare time.
Yeah, right. You said something that before you do it, it took you a long time of thinking about it in order for you to do it. What was the reason for that?
I think that is a very good question. I think you just want to make sure that you are diving into something that you're sure of. For me, anyway, I think before I decided to buy that camera, because it is an investment after all, I wanted to be sure that this is something I can ultimately do, even from my sleep. Okay, so we all have jobs and we all have careers, but at the end of the day, you want to be fulfilled aside from that. So there is, like you said, there is different things I was passionate about, and I thought, what would be the best thing for me right now? What thing can I do at the moment? And that's why my thought process took me to photography.
So how long did it take you from just having your idea of doing photography and the time it took you to start doing it? Like, how long did that take you? Did you take you?
For me, it takes me a very long time. I know for some people it's not. For me, I think it was at least 6 months.
Wow.
6 months. Yeah. It took me quite a while.
Wow. That's very interesting, because the reason why I asked that question is, for me, in terms of even start photography, I remember I was before my birthday, and literally I was like, I need to do photography. And it took me like the whole week. I could not go to sleep. Literally, then the whole week I could not go to sleep. I had this idea in my head. I need to do it. And as you're saying, I was so nervous, like, to do it. Like, oh my God, why should I do it? Whatever. And you're battling yourself of figuring, like, why should I do this? And at the end I was just like, you know what, I'm fed up. I want to be
I'm gonna do it anyway.
You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to go to sleep, and I want to be able to, to be okay. So I was just like, you know what? Let me make my Instagram, let me make my Facebook, let me make a website, whatever. And from there, let's see what happens. And why do I say that? I believe a lot of us, as human or whatever, we have so many ideas. And we are afraid to act upon our ideas. We're afraid of saying, okay, I want to do this. And just like, oh, should I do it now? Oh, no, I don't think it's a good idea. And guess what? Somebody has the same idea. Even though they don't have everything in place, they just take that idea and start going with it. And I can just give an example, like my dad. For him to start a business, he decided, like, okay, and he didn't have everything in place. He didn't have a system in place to pay the staff or whatever. There were so many things which I was looking at him. I was just sitting there and thinking, are you sure you're going to start this? Because you don't have everything in place. But because he has that idea or that vision of what he wanted to do, it just pushed him to start doing it. And you're thinking, like, what? How in the world do you, you meant to look,
I think you need to know, like, what type of person you are. Like, some people get that incline and they're go-getters. They don't think about the process of getting there. They're just like, let's do it.
That's it, let's go.
And get on with it. And then there's those people who,
I don't want to do it.
We kind of talk ourselves through every little decision before we make the decision. So, like, by the time you end up making the decision, it might be too late. I think it's very crucial to know who you are as a person, and then embark in whatever you want to do. But feel no regrets once you start, because the main thing is to just do it. Just do it and give it a try. Like, if you don't give it a try, you're gonna sit there in 5-10 years time.
I wish I did it.
Oh, I wish I did it. And you don't want to be saying, I wish I did it, or any regrets. you just want to say, I tried it never worked at that time. I tried it wasn't for me. But I will sure be able to try something else. But it's very important to trust your instincts. Like when you say something kept nagging you, something kept nagging me multiple times before I made a decision. So that thing is a push for you to give it a go.
Yeah, and again, for our audience, it's so amazing because for me, I find it very interesting because I'm a creative person. I find it interesting in terms of just having the idea in your head, and then to be able to project that idea which you had in your head into a physical thing. To be like, oh my God, this is what I was thinking of designing or drawing. And I can just see it physically in front of me. That's that's so powerful for me. That's amazing for me. And I believe it's important, as you're saying, it's important to know who you are and to know what kind of scenario, if a scenario plays out, how would you react? Okay, because we think so many things like, okay, this might go wrong, that might go wrong, that might go wrong. You're thinking that everything will go wrong. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, as you're saying, you gotta know okay, I need to have a certain team around me in order to okay, because I know I'm nervous or whatever, that I know okay, this person is somebody. If you tell them okay, we are going, okay, we are going to London or we're doing this and that, that person be okay, cool, let's go. That's kind of person they are. So you need to know okay, how can I need to have people around me that have different skills and they have that ability to be yo, Elisha, you're taking time. Why are you taking time to decide what you want to do? Go for it. You know what I'm saying? So you need to have the same people around you that pushes you. You know what? The decision which you're making is very important. We know that. But don't leave me for 2 years.
And again, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So try and spend time with the people that you really do like and people who you really want to be like, because whether you like it or not, their characteristic kind of brush off to you, and vice versa. And if you don't know who you are yet, you're still trying error. Because I know there's a lot of people who are. I believe when I was 19, 20, 24, I thought I figured myself out. I thought I knew who I want to be and things like that. And over time, now I'm just thinking, wow, there is so much that I could have done or tried or threw myself into to discover. So you're always in work in progress. You're always continuously learning. So if you're from 15, 16 to 25, you can try as many times and
even when you're older,
okay.
even our old people, let me use that term because I don't know what other term to use. You see a lot of, you see people maybe they're 16, they're 70, whatever, but they have a dream, they have a passion, and they do something amazing. You think how in the world did you do this? I think what we're trying to say is that when you have a dream and when you have a passion on something, don't leave it too late. If you you can do something for humanity or whatever, or maybe for your family or for your friend, don't leave it too late, because what is the point? What is the point of you having that dream and that passion which is only be given to you? It's only been given to you. So therefore, it's your responsibility to take that dream or that passion and to make it into a reality. And I think this is my message, which I'm trying to give to everybody, that your dream is being given to you. You are unique. You know what I'm saying?
Unless you don't work on it, someone else will.
Yeah, and the thing is, fun enough, you might find out the person that I think oh, I could have done it better. Do you know when you go to a party, you might go to a party or you might go to somewhere and you're thinking you know what, I could have made it better. I could have done this better.
But it's never too late either. It's never too late to do your own version of stuff. As long as you have passion and you're charismatic and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they did this. I could have done this, this, and this. That means there's already a gap that you can be able to fulfill and make it better. And it's like, oh, so I'm actually good. I think sometimes when you do it, you can see yourself, and you say, "Oh wow, I can actually do this."
Yes, and again, as you're saying, is people or the people you're surrounding with, and at the same time, there's some certain people you are with, and they challenges you.
Yeah.
You're thinking, how in the world was I meant to do this? Like, why are you challenging me? Why are you making me try to come out from my comfort zone? The only way for you to grow is for you to come out from your comfort zone. To talk to that stranger. Okay, this stranger is doing something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And for you to be like, to present yourself to them, like, hi, I'm seeing you doing this and that. How can I do something like this? How's so it's just showing you have to go out of your way, even though you feel like you're like literally you're nervous, like you feel it in your bones, like, oh my god, I'm so nervous right now. But you gotta take that, you gotta find a certain college from somewhere where you just like, you know what, okay, forget it, I'm nervous, I'm not nervous. So you have to speak within yourself, like, yo, it's going to be okay. What can they do? Then there's nothing that they can do. Let me just ask the question. If they say no, I move on to the next person. If they say yeah, fine, great. So I think sometimes it's, as I said so many in different episodes which we've gone so far, is what I've learned is that it's always start within ourselves. So the self-confidence, no one can teach you that. Somebody can tell you that, oh, please be self-confident or whatever. No one's going to teach you. It's yourself looking within yourself and like, okay, you know what? In order for me to get this, I need to be self-confident. I need to believe in my dream. I need to believe with myself that I can be able to achieve this.
Exactly.
So you gotta project that image of what you want. And it's so powerful that so many times we hear people's like, I didn't know how to do this. I just, fake it to make it, if that makes sense.
Till you make it.
You know what I'm saying? So it's that kind of courage which you need to take within yourself in order to like, you know what? Let me do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe today it did not work out the way I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll try again.
It's likewise in the career path or in office environment. If you're given a challenge or a job that you think you might not be able to do it, but you're given that, just believe that you, as an individual,
you're the right person for it.
You are the right person for it. It might scare you, it might rip you off, but just believe that you can do it, because for that position to come to your hands, there is some kind of skills that you possess already that you'll be able to take care of it. And by all means, if you end up taking it and then think it's too much, you can always hold your hands up high and say, I tried my best.
Yes. Yeah. So in terms of your, because I know we kind of spoke a little bit about it in terms of you starting working. Like, once you finish uni, how long did it take you for you to take your first position?
Okay. Yeah, so I think at that time when I graduated, it was around 2015, I believe. 2015, 16 is quite a while. There was quite a big market of graduates as well, applying for roles. And I remember going to interview after interview. I went to London, I went to Edinburgh, I went to Leeds, multiple ones in Sheffield as well. So it was very competitive.
Yeah.
But it took me, I think, about 3 months to get a role, and this is through agency at for HSBC Bank.
Right.
So it was a while, and it wasn't a role that I studied for. It was a role that you would get if you're starting off any career.
Right.
So yeah, it was challenging. At that time,
what was the challenge?
So there is a lot of graduate schemes that come along, but I think it's interview after interview, you get overwhelmed with different questions, and the challenge is it's difficult to say because
when you say there's a challenge, because what I want is for me is to get the audience to know the type of challenge which we have. Like for example, you have a certain challenge, I have a different challenge. If that makes sense. However, I believe the audience want to know your challenge and be like, oh yeah, you know what? I had the same challenge, or I'm having the same challenge where I'm applying for jobs. How do I overcome it? Because you overcome it.
Yeah.
So what kind of challenge did you have where you can be like, you know what? Okay, if I'm as advising somebody who's gonna go through that, who's maybe is going through the same journey as I'm going through applying for jobs, these are kind of challenge which I faced, and how did I overcome it?
Yeah, so yes. I think for me the challenge was every role that I went to were asking for experience, and I have just come from university. The only experience I had was either working with university, and I also took my Erasmus year abroad. That's the only experience I have, but I hadn't had ground-on experience in a workplace.
Yes.
And every job, because I was applying for accountancy assistants at that time, or even graduate schemes, they really needed some type of experience.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't had that, it was very difficult for me to get roles.
Yeah.
I would get interviewed.
Yes.
I would get positions, and I think there is one time I got interviewed by a company called SIG here in Sheffield.
Right.
Really brilliant company, and on paper I was good, I was excellent, but then I was in opposition with a colleague of mine who they had experience. You know, they had at least 2 years experience in the role.
Yes.
So on paper they weren't better, but because of experience, she ended up taking the role that
So
that I
in terms
didn't,
of that, how did you overcome that idea or that feeling like, should I stop applying for jobs?
Yeah,
you know, like how did you keep that fire? How did you keep your fire burning? How did you keep yourself like, you know what? I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. I think because I was in a pool with so many of other friends of mine who finished university, I think we just kept like talking to each other. Oh, what are you doing now? What's the opportunity now? Where are you going? So you found people who were saying, oh, I'm moving to a different city because I've got a role there.
Yes.
Or I am still going to do my master's, or I am doing this. So the different aspects of people kind of motivate you to keep on looking for a role.
Yes.
And for me, I think I just got to a position where I'm like, you know what? I'll just take a job that comes, and then I'll work my way from there.
Yes. Right. Okay. So basically, what an advice is, you know, if you're applying for jobs and you're in the position where you're just like, you know what, I cannot see that I'm able to have the job which I want straight away. Try to see if you can apply for another role that allows you to move up to that position which you want it to be. And I think again it's important just to understand that, you know, where you are right now does determine where you're going to be in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
You know, the position where you have right now or you don't have is not like, okay, this is what I'm going to be for the rest of my life. No, it's not. You know, and I think sometimes we get stuck. You know, when we think by ourselves, we're thinking, okay, this is how it's going to be for forever or whatever. But if you are able to just breathe and talk to other people who are doing different role, doing something, you know, just try to see a positive thing inside it. You know, because you know, applying for jobs is not easy. You know, especially when you get when you get back. Unfortunately, I'm like, you know what? I don't have to spend that word.
You've done test, you've done 10th objective, every other test that could possibly be thrown at you, and then still find the email saying unfortunately
or whatever. Yeah. So
you just have to remember that there is a lot of other people in the pool as well, also applying.
Yeah.
And to understand the roles that you're applying, what you need from them, like what they require, so the entry requirements, the experiences, or what type of person they're looking for.
Yes.
So do not lose hope. Keep pushing, keep going, and eventually you will be where you want to be.
Yes. So again, I think that's a very important tool. You know, especially regarding COVID right now, a lot of things are changing. There's a lot of people losing their jobs or whatever. But the thing is, I think again, it's important to be able to start building up your skills. You know, have okay, this is what I'm doing at the moment. However, what else can I do to improve? What else can I do to improve in terms of my job, in terms of my relationship, in terms of my communicating skills, all those kind of stuff? What can I be able to do? And I get and that growth is important, you know.
Definitely.
So in terms of you, because I know there's a lot of things when it comes to accounting, all those kind of stuff, you have to do some other courses. How are you managing, like, how's your progress in terms of once you start working, all those kind of stuff?
Oh God, so yeah, I have. Oh my goodness, it is always a struggle. I think I never thought I'll continuously be studying even after I finish university.
Wow, say that again. Can you say that again?
Because it is wow, and it's just not even if you want to be a lawyer or a solicitor, it's like studies will never end.
You cannot put your book down. There's no way you can put your book down.
So when I finished, I thought, okay, I'll just work my way up and that kind of stuff. And then I came to realize, oh no, I really can't do that. I still need some other qualifications. So you can either be studying for this ACA or CIMA, those are the accountancy side of it, or take a master's if you want. Take a master's that can boost you up a level. So I thought, oh my goodness, now I have to go back to university. Now, when I look at the masters, the courses were so expensive. And I thought, how am I going to be taking a student loan again to go and finance my studies? And I said, and I said, okay, no, that's not the option I'm going to go for at the moment because I don't want any student debts. I'll just continue working and then look for something that I'll be able to study with and grow from there.
Okay. So, I see what you're saying, like, in terms of, again, I think a point which you made, like, in terms of putting the book down. You can never put your book down.
No.
In any career path which you're taking, you cannot put your book down. There's no way. Like, once you pull your book down, you're in trouble. Because there's always something new. There's always something happening. And you gotta be informed in terms of what's going on in your industry. Because if you don't know what the hell is going on in your industry, you're in trouble. I remember when we had a business and we were talking in terms of, like, okay, the reason why I'm employing you is for the knowledge which you have and the skill which you have. However, it'd be useful to me if the knowledge and the skill which you have was for 5 years ago. It's good you have the experience. However, what I need is for you to be able to continue improving, continue educating yourself. But if you do not, like it or not, I don't care how brilliant you were or you are right now, in 5 years' time, the skills which is required for your job is completely different. You know what I'm saying? And especially when we're talking about technology moving forward, there's gonna be a lot of jobs which in 10 years' time you'll be thinking, like, huh? The job which you're gonna be creating in 5, 10 years' time is completely different. So therefore you cannot put your book down. It's either you're leading some papers, leading the news, going to conferences, all those kind of stuff, in order to make sure that you're on top of the game. So keep on reading. Maybe you don't like it or whatever, but you have to. Because if and again, and I think that's why the important is, what is your passion? What do you love doing? What makes you up in the morning? You're thinking, like, once you get up in the morning, what do you like? Like, what is it making you think, like, oh, wow, this happened, bloody, I didn't know this happened. I didn't, so you're reading so much stuff. You're thinking, like, oh my God, wow, this is what's going on. So that
is the motivation for you to get out of bed. You're actually excited to see what's new, what's happened, and that's your drive. That's what you're gonna be happy to do in and out. So without that, I think it's difficult for you to stay on top of everything. So you have to really have a passion. You have to really like it. And sometimes you might not even like it, but you've grown. That's career you've chosen. So keeping on top of stuff, continuous progression and development is a key skill into growing.
Yeah, and I think again, this is really extremely important, because if you don't do that, what's the point? And I guess so many times there's when I'm listening to a lot of things, they're saying a lot of people, they're doing a job which they don't like.
Yeah, exactly. The reason the same. Almost 90% of people in the UK are working people, and most of us are doing jobs that we don't like.
We don't like.
Yeah, so why are we doing them in the first?
So and that's the thing. Now, what is the point? Like, if you've seen your talent, or you've seen your ability, and you love doing a certain thing, work toward that thing. Yeah. Maybe you're in that position where you don't like what you're doing at the moment. That's all right.
Exactly. And it's that thing again about paying the bills and making sure that you can sustain yourself. So make sure that you have something that will be able to maybe pay the bills, as well as start working on something that you enjoy doing.
Yes. And I guess and the thing is, again, is like, you have to do it. You gotta fry. I've heard certain things that it's either you fry yourself, or somebody push you to fry. If that makes sense. So there's gonna be there's gonna be a position where you find out, you're out of the job, or they fired you. And you're like, okay, why did they fire me? Like, hey, guess what? You didn't like the job, first of all. You didn't want to do that. Your dream and passion is maybe, for example, to be to work to be a cooker or something like that. That's your passion. But you're doing you're a sales person. You don't like the job, but you're doing it because you of the money. Okay. There's gonna be a position. There's gonna be something might happen where you're just like, I don't like this job. You know what I'm saying? And your core and your living is that passion. And that passion, of course, when we say when you speak about passion, it means there's a certain challenge that is going to be with that passion which you have. And again, you need to understand that, like, the passion or the dream which you have, there's going to be challenges. However, because you like that thing which you want to do, you're going to enjoy the challenge. You're going to enjoy it, like, okay, you know what? I have to get up early in the morning. I have to prepare this and that. But it's the dream which you want us to do, and you're going to be happy. You're going to live longer in your passion than doing something you don't have passion about it. So therefore, for me, I'll say, like, I prefer you having that piano lady, knowing that, okay, maybe I don't like this anymore, but I have a plan. It might take me maybe 2 years in order for me to get to that position where I'm going to enjoy what I'm be doing. You have that in your mind. Write it down. As you're saying, like, write that plan down and say, okay, this is how I want to do it. Maybe it might take me longer, but I'm even though I don't like that job I'm doing at the moment. Yes, okay, cool, it's fine. I got a plan anyways. This is what I want to do. And I think it's extremely important to do that, and to remember that whatever position where you are in, you cannot put down your book. You always have to make sure that you have the book with you. To know what's going on, to know, like, okay, in this industry, this is what's going on, and this is the challenges which you have in the industry, whatever, this kind of stuff. Because if you don't do that, again, for example, when you go for the interview, like, okay, what challenges are you facing? I don't know. But if you know the challenges, like, okay, this is the challenge which is going on. I read this book, I read this article. They're saying this is how we can be able to solve this problem. But if you don't read,
you gotta make yourself vibrant. You gotta stay on top of stuff. You have to be on fire. You have to be up and current. You have to know what's going on. So it is by all means a necessity. because people love, actually, when you're going for interviews, they want to hear something new. They want to see what you bring into the table. It's someone coming from outside, so they want to learn from you as well, as much as you're learning from them. So it needs to be a thing where you're back and forth, growing. And either it's books or practical, because I know there's a lot of people who are like, let's say, builders or, in different fields where they have to practice stuff. So within that field, look at how they have innovated or moved from, each and every single year. And then use those skills that you've learned before, or people that you've seen, things that you've heard, to innovate yourself and actually progress yourself even better, so that when you step up into a position, you are bringing new energy, you're bringing new information, you're making things better.
I think that's what is important, because if you don't do that, you know how to do one system, but you know how to work the other system. So I think it's extremely important in terms of that. What kind of things have you got in your book, in your notes, in your, like, okay, this year I want to do this, I want to travel, I want to do that. What kind of stuff you wanted to do?
Yeah, so that's a good one. 2021. I had a few plans for 2020, but let's say they are now being pushed to 2021. Yes, travel is one of my main priorities. That I keep trying to at least go one new place every single year. So this year in 2021, I would love to go to a country in southern of Africa.
Right.
So
and which, you need to be able to, like, okay, you want to go to one of the country, whatever. There's so many countries. Like, have you?
Yes, there is.
Like, which one have you been looking at or anything like that?
That would be something that I want people to, either follow or find me on Instagram, and they'll see where I get up to. But it's definitely somewhere that I've already planned to go near the end of this year. So that's my biggest one, and other ones are what we were just spoken about, like a lot of self-development. So I'm trying to buy as many books and have new skills in myself. And I think one of the biggest things for me this year is to look into having different streams of income. And I think that's one thing that a lot of us are trying to do, especially during lockdown.
Especially now. You gotta. Yes.
So it's not a lot, but it's a few things that I'm trying to earn for 2021.
And again, it doesn't need to be like 1,000 things. There's no need of that. If you have it can be even 5. Even 1 or 2. Like, okay, my target for this year is to be healthy. Like, what can I do in order for me to have a healthy diet?
Lifestyle,
You know what I'm saying? That's my only challenge for this year. That's it. To be healthy. So which means at the end, hopefully by the end of the year, I'll be like, okay, this is what I ate this, I don't eat that. As again, you're going to fail, you're going to succeed, you're going to be okay, this is what I did. But you gotta have something in order for you to be like, okay, at the beginning of the year, I did not know how to do this. Now I know how to do it.
But now, exactly.
And I think.
So, that's a really good point, actually. You want to say at the beginning of the year, I didn't know how to do this, but now at the end of the year, I've learned how to do this skill. So, for that, on that perspective, I would say gym. Gym is one of the things that I want to be consistent on. I have been a member of the gym, but a couple
I gotta laugh. I didn't know what you were going to say, but I gotta laugh. Yeah, go on.
But as we all know, we have that membership that we look at it, and then 6 months later, you're like,
why am I not using it? Yes.
So once the lockdown has ended, I want to be a consistent member of the gym, and I want to say, look now, in the end of 2021,
yes,
I wanted to go to the gym, and I have been able to tick that box and say,
I've done it. Yes,
I've done it.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I think again, I was laughing. It's funny because when it comes to gyms or working out, all those kind of stuff, you always hear people do that. Like they got a membership and they don't use it. You're thinking, what's going on?
I don't even know why it happens. Like I get the membership so that it pushes me to go to the gym.
Yes.
And it still finds it quite
Yeah, I think that's the thing is surround yourself with people who are doing that thing.
Yeah.
Because they're going to push you one or another. Yeah. I remember one of the guys, were doing boxing, training, and he's just like, oh, we're in the gym, and it's like you have to run for 45 minutes. 45 minute running, and I'm like, I've never done that before. Maybe 25. I've done maybe 25 minutes or whatever. 45 minutes. I've never done that before. And he just told me like 45 minute run. I'm like, but because I was pushed to do 45 minutes, I was like, okay, cool, let's go for it.
And you did it.
I did more than 45 minutes. I did an hour. First, I did an hour. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, wow. So being able to be put with somebody who's on a higher position than you, that should definitely make you grow faster. Yes, it's going to challenge you, but that you'd be like, okay, he has done it already. If he has done it already, I can also do it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing of getting out from your comfort zone. It makes you, okay, you feel vulnerable. You feel like, oh my God, how can I do it? I feel stupid. I feel I don't know how to do it. I feel like I don't have any knowledge, whatever. But guess what? You're growing.
Yeah.
You're growing.
So, yeah, I think the main point that you mentioned there is a really good one. Get out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
And majority, I would say women. I would talk in the perspective of a woman because I am a woman too. We tend to like comfort so much. Sometimes we know that we are in a place that we can do more, but we don't push ourselves because we are comfortable. We like to stay in areas that we know.
Yes.
And I see this as a difference compared to any of my female, of my male counterparts.
Yeah.
They are risk takers a little bit more, and they kind of dive into things and opportunities. So even me, when you met me being a photographer at that time, I think it was very like abnormal for you to see a woman who's taking pictures around. So it's one of those things that we need to be a little bit more risk takers, a little bit more, getting out of the comfort zone or getting out of that social norm where we think that we put barriers and blocks around ourselves. We need to break those barriers so that we can be able to see what we are capable of.
100%. Because as I said, when you're comfortable, that's what do you call it? That's that happens when you're comfortable. When you feel everything's okay, you feel like, I don't need to check, I don't need to read, I don't need to do that. Everything's okay. That's when trouble starts. So if you feel comfortable right now, you should not feel comfortable. With the knowledge which you have, you should not feel comfortable. With the skill which you have, you should not feel comfortable. Whatever you have, the house which you have, you should not feel comfortable. Like everything which you have, you should not feel comfortable. You should be like, you know what? I need to do this. I need to move right now.
Yeah.
So it's tell us that you need to go ahead. You need to move. But yeah, I think it's a very important thing that our audience need to know, that you should not feel comfortable. You should be like, okay, what can I read? What can I do? How can I improve? In order for you to succeed. And I don't know. Do you have anything else before we finish our interview? Or what else can you tell your audience, or tell them, like, you know what? Actually, before that, I know you do like working with you do volunteers in terms of women, all this kind of stuff. Can you give us a little bit what you do as well regarding that?
Okay, yeah, definitely. So I actually have two charities. One is I work for my mom's charity. It's called United Women Affiliation.
Right.
So I will give you the links, and you can add them down below. It's a charity that helps to empower women from a Black and minority background to assist them in life goals and skills. So we really do try and help the community here in Sheffield, and to really grow our the women around our neighborhoods. And the other charity that I do personally is VOA, which is like victims of assault. So this is a charity that I tend to go and do events sometimes back in Tanzania. And it's mainly to help women and children as well. So as we know, Africa is kind of still developing, and a lot of women need life skills and entrepreneurial assets that we're trying to involve them. And for the kids, we try to inspire them and to give them any means of education so that they could be able to have a future for themselves. So we are open to anyone who would like to either be part of, would like to send any charitable items or become a volunteer with us. We are happy to do so. We work in partnership with a company called Your Holiday in Africa, Your Holiday Abroad. So you can, when you come abroad with us, some of the earnings go to these kids and women.
Okay, so yeah, that's really amazing. Yeah, definitely. If you can send me all those information, we'll just put that on the page itself. Because as I said, it's your dreams or your passion is linked with people. If you don't realize that, it's unfortunately, a lot of people, they die with their dreams and passion where could have inspired a lot of people. Even in the little thing which you're doing is inspiring a lot of people. You don't know that. It's connected to people. And I just wish you all the success for this year, because it's important. It's important to continue doing what you're doing, because at the end of the day, you're helping somebody else. I just appreciate your time for being here. And I'll just hope that we can continue talking what challenges we have, all those kind of stuff. And
just one final say. I think I kept seeing this quote everywhere on social media, that even though we are on lockdown, your plans cannot be on lockdown. Your future cannot be on lockdown. So whatever is happening around the world, make sure that you are a light and the sunshine to people. Because as we all know, life is very daring these days. And the fact that we are here and still alive today, we still have a purpose.
Big time. So I really appreciate your time. And definitely thank you for being here. And I hope the audience were able to get something from this, because for me, I've got a lot of things which I've got from that, in terms of planning, in terms of writing down everything, and just keeping that motivation going. Because at the end of the day, if you don't keep that motivation going, you cannot go anywhere.
So thank you, and you're definitely one of my people who inspires me a lot. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. So thank you very much for that, and I shall see you next time. So for now, guys, thank you very much, and I will see you next with the next video. So bye bye.